Deep in the jungles of southern Mexico, buried beneath layers of earth and time, lie massive stone heads, each one weighing up to 40 tons, carved with astonishing precision and staring out with an air of mystery. These colossal sculptures are the work of the Olmecs, often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica. But who were these people, and why do they remain one of history's most intriguing enigmas? The Olmecs were the first great civilization in the region, laying the foundation for the Maya, Aztecs, and countless other cultures that followed. Yet, despite their monumental achievements, much about them is still unknown. Where did they come from? How did they create such incredible works of art without modern tools? And why did their civilization suddenly vanish, leaving behind only whispers of their legacy? In this video, we'll dive into the world of the Olmecs, exploring their art, culture, and the secrets that continue to baffle experts to this day. By the end, you'll see why these ancient people are not just a footnote in history, but a key to understanding the rise of civilizations in the Americas. And along the way, we'll uncover some of the most puzzling questions that still linger about this mysterious culture. Ready to step into the past? Let's begin. The story of the Olmecs begins with a mystery as enigmatic as the colossal stone heads they left behind. Who were they, and where did they come from? Theories about their origins have sparked debates that stretch across continents and centuries. Some scholars believe the Olmecs emerged organically in the lush, tropical lowlands of the Gulf Coast of Mexico, developing their unique culture independently. Others, however, point to more controversial ideas, suggesting possible transoceanic influences from Africa or even Asia. While these claims remain hotly contested, what's undeniable is the Olmecs' deep connection to their homeland, a region rich in resources and ripe for the rise of a complex society. At the heart of this civilization lies the Gulf Coast, where sites like San Lorenzo and La Venta stand as testaments to their ingenuity. San Lorenzo, one of the earliest Olmec centers, reveals evidence of advanced urban planning with elaborate drainage systems and monumental architecture. La Venta, on the other hand, showcases the Olmec's artistic brilliance, from towering stone sculptures to intricate jade carvings. These sites not only highlight their achievements, but also raise questions about how such a sophisticated culture could emerge seemingly out of nowhere. The lack of written records from the Olmecs adds another layer of intrigue. Unlike later Mesoamerican civilizations, the Olmecs left behind no extensive codices or inscriptions to tell their story. Instead, archaeologists rely on the physical remnants of their cities, their art, and their trade networks to piece together their origins. This scarcity of evidence has fueled speculation. Were the Olmecs truly the first complex society in the Americas, or were they part of a broader, interconnected cultural network that has yet to be fully uncovered? What we do know is that the Olmecs laid the foundation for future Mesoamerican civilizations, influencing everything from religion to political organization. Their monumental achievements, like the iconic colossal heads, speak to a society capable of remarkable feats of engineering and artistry. As we explore their origins, we begin to see how this enigmatic civilization not only shaped their own world, but also set the stage for the cultures that followed. And as we move forward, we'll uncover just how far their influence reached, from the jungles of Mexico to the heart of ancient Mesoamerica. The Olmec civilization, often referred to as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, left behind one of the most striking and enigmatic legacies in the form of the colossal Olmec heads. These massive stone sculptures, carved from single basalt boulders, stand as towering symbols of power, artistry, and mystery. Discovered in the early 20th century, these heads immediately captivated archaeologists and historians, raising questions that still intrigue us today. Each head, some weighing up to 40 tons and standing over 9 feet tall, bears unique facial features, intricate headdresses, and expressions that seem to convey both authority and solemnity. But who do they represent, and how did the Olmecs, without the use of wheels or draft animals, transport these enormous stones from quarries miles away? Theories about their purpose are as fascinating as the heads themselves. Some scholars suggest they depict powerful rulers, immortalized in stone to assert their dominance and divine connection. Others propose they represent deities, serving as a bridge between the earthly and the spiritual realms. The intricate carvings on their headdresses often include symbolic motifs, hinting at a complex belief system and social hierarchy. What's clear is that these sculptures were not merely decorative. They were profound statements of identity, power, and cultural sophistication. The logistical feat of creating these heads is equally astounding. Basalt, the volcanic rock used for the sculptures, was sourced from distant quarries, some located over 50 miles from the Olmec heartland. Imagine the effort required to transport these massive boulders through dense jungles and across rivers. It's believed that the Olmecs used a combination of manpower, wooden rollers, and possibly rafts to move the stone, a testament to their ingenuity and determination. From an artistic perspective, the heads are masterpieces. The level of detail in the facial features, wrinkles, lips, and even subtle expressions shows a deep understanding of human anatomy and a commitment to realism. This craftsmanship reflects not only technical skill, but also a cultural emphasis on individuality and identity. Experts often point to these sculptures as evidence of the Olmec's influence on later Mesoamerican civilizations, from the Maya to the Aztecs, who adopted and adapted their artistic traditions. But the colossal heads are just one example of the Olmec's advanced craftsmanship. Their artistry extended to jade carvings, pottery, and even monumental architecture, each piece telling a story of a society that valued both beauty and meaning. As we explore these artifacts, we begin to see the Olmecs not just as a mysterious ancient culture, but as innovators whose legacy shaped the course of Mesoamerican history. What other secrets might their artistry reveal, and how did their achievements pave the way for the civilizations that followed? These questions draw us deeper into the story of the Olmecs, a civilization that continues to captivate and inspire. The artistic legacy of the Olmecs is nothing short of breathtaking, a vivid window into a civilization that thrived over 3,000 years ago. Among their most striking creations are the jade figurines, often small yet incredibly detailed, depicting human-like figures with distinct features. These figurines, along with colossal stone heads and intricate carvings, tell a story of a people deeply connected to their environment, their gods, and their beliefs. But what makes Olmec art truly fascinating is the recurring symbolism woven into every piece, inviting us to decode their world. One of the most iconic motifs in Olmec art is the word jaguar, a hybrid creature blending human and jaguar traits. This enigmatic figure appears in sculptures, masks, and carvings, often with exaggerated features like downturned mouths and almond-shaped eyes. Some scholars believe the word jaguar represents a divine being or a shamanic transformation, symbolizing the merging of human and animal spirits. Others suggest it might be tied to fertility or rain deities, reflecting the Olmec's reliance on agriculture. The truth is, without a written language to explain these symbols, we're left piecing together fragments of meaning, like detectives trying to solve an ancient puzzle. But the influence of Olmec art didn't stop with their civilization. Their iconic style and motifs became a blueprint for later Mesoamerican cultures. The Maya, for instance, adopted elements of Olmec iconography, integrating them into their own artistic traditions. Similarly, the Aztecs looked back at the Olmecs as a foundational culture, drawing inspiration from their symbols and themes. This artistic continuity suggests that the Olmecs weren't just a fleeting presence, they were the cultural torchbearers of their time, leaving a legacy that echoed for centuries. Yet, interpreting these symbols isn't easy. Without written records, we rely on comparisons with later cultures and educated guesses based on archaeological findings. Take, for example, the Jade figurines. While their craftsmanship is undeniable, their purpose remains debated. Were they offerings to the gods, symbols of power, or personal talismans? Each theory offers a glimpse into the spiritual and cultural practices of the Olmecs, but the full picture remains tantalizingly out of reach. What's clear, though, is that art was central to Olmec life. It wasn't just decoration, it was a language of its own, conveying beliefs, values, and stories. From the towering stone heads that may have represented rulers or deities to the delicate jade carvings that held spiritual significance, every piece offers a clue to understanding this enigmatic civilization. And as we explore these artistic treasures, we're reminded of the enduring power of creativity, a bridge connecting the past to the present, inviting us to uncover the mysteries of the Olmecs one symbol at a time. The spiritual world of the Olmecs was as monumental as the colossal stone heads they carved. At the heart of their civilization lay a rich tapestry of gods, rituals, and sacred spaces that defined their connection to the divine. Central to this were their ceremonial centers, hubs of religious activity that brought the community together in awe and reverence. Take La Venta, for instance, a site that still whispers secrets of the Olmec spiritual practices. Here, towering pyramids and intricately carved altars stood as testaments to their devotion, serving as stages for rituals that bridged the human and the divine. The Olmec pantheon was vast and complex, with deities representing natural forces like rain, maize, and the earth. These gods weren't distant figures but active participants in daily life, believed to influence everything from harvests to the fortunes of rulers. Shamans played a crucial role in this spiritual framework, acting as intermediaries between the earthly and the supernatural. They performed rituals, interpreted omens, and guided the community through the mysteries of the cosmos. Rulers, too, were deeply tied to this system, often seen as divine figures themselves, chosen by the gods to lead and protect their people. One of the most intriguing and debated aspects of Olmec religion is the practice of human sacrifice. While evidence is sparse, some theories suggest it was a way to appease the gods, ensuring balance and prosperity. Whether through bloodletting rituals or more dramatic offerings, these acts underscored the Olmec's belief in the sacred exchange between life and the divine. This spiritual foundation wasn't just about worship, it shaped every facet of Olmec life. From governance to agriculture, their religion provided a framework for understanding the world and their place in it. The ceremonial centers weren't just places of prayer, but also symbols of power and unity, where the spiritual and the political intertwined. As we peel back the layers of their beliefs, we see how the Olmec's connection to the divine wasn't just a part of their culture. It was their culture, a force that shaped their identity and legacy. The Olmecs left behind countless artifacts, colossal stone heads, and intricate carvings, but one of the most tantalizing mysteries they've handed down to us is the question of their writing system. Did they develop a true written language, or were their inscriptions more symbolic, a form of proto-writing? This debate has fascinated scholars for decades, and it all centers around one of the most intriguing discoveries, the Cascadel block. Discovered in the late 1990s, the Cascadel block is a small, rectangular slab of serpentine stone etched with what appear to be symbols. These symbols are arranged in rows, hinting at a structured system of communication. Some researchers argue that this is evidence of a fully developed writing system, while others suggest it might represent a more rudimentary form of symbolic expression. The truth is, we still don't know for sure. What's clear, though, is that these symbols offer a window into the Olmec mind, a glimpse of how they might have recorded their thoughts, beliefs, or even their history. Beyond the cascadal block, other inscriptions have been found on pottery, figurines, and even monuments. These symbols often appear alongside depictions of deities, rulers, or mythological scenes, suggesting they might have played a role in religious or ceremonial context. But without a Rosetta Stone, a key to unlocking their meaning, we're left to speculate. Could these symbols represent names, prayers, or even stories? Or were they simply markers of identity, like a signature or a clan emblem? The implications of an Olmec writing system are enormous. If they did develop a true script, it would place them among the earliest civilizations in the Americas to achieve such a feat, predating even the Maya. This would fundamentally reshape our understanding of Mesoamerican history, suggesting that the Olmecs were not just pioneers in art and architecture, but also in the realm of literacy and record-keeping. On the other hand, if their symbols were proto-writing, it still speaks to a sophisticated level of abstract thought and communication, far beyond simple pictographs. What makes this mystery even more compelling is how it deepens the enigma of the Olmecs themselves. Unlike the Maya, whose writing system we've largely deciphered, the Olmec script, if it exists, remains silent. Their words, their stories, their daily lives are locked away in symbols we can't yet understand. This lack of a deciphered script adds an almost poetic layer to their legacy, reminding us that even as we uncover more about this ancient civilization, there's still so much we don't know. And perhaps that's what makes the Olmecs so endlessly fascinating. They are a puzzle with pieces still waiting to be found. The Olmecs weren't just masters of stone and sculpture, they were also masters of time. Their understanding of the cosmos and their ability to track it with precision was nothing short of extraordinary. At the heart of their timekeeping was the long count calendar, a system so advanced that it would influence every major civilization that came after them in Mesoamerica, including the Maya and the Aztecs. But what made this calendar so groundbreaking? Unlike our modern Gregorian calendar, which tracks days, months, and years, the long count was designed to measure vast stretches of time. It was a linear system, counting the days from a mythical starting point, often interpreted as the birth of the current world. This allowed the Olmecs to track history, predict celestial events, and even plan for the future with remarkable accuracy. Think of it as an ancient cosmic clock ticking away the ages, but the Olmecs didn't stop there. Their calendar wasn't just a tool for keeping time, it was deeply tied to their worldview. They believed that celestial events like solar eclipses or the movements of Venus were messages from the gods. These events weren't just observed, they were carefully recorded and integrated into their religious practices. For example, the alignment of their ceremonial centers, like Venta, often mirrored the positions of the stars or planets during significant dates. This wasn't coincidence, it was intentional. The Olmecs saw the heavens as a map and their cities as earthly reflections of that divine order. What's even more fascinating is how their mastery of timekeeping shaped their daily lives. The Olmecs were an agricultural society, and their calendar played a crucial role in organizing planting and harvesting cycles. By tracking the seasons and predicting weather patterns, they could ensure bountiful harvests and sustain their growing population. This connection between the heavens, the earth, and their survival was a cornerstone of their civilization. In many ways, the Olmec's calendar was more than just a system of numbers. It was a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the practical and the profound. Their ability to measure time with such precision wasn't just a scientific achievement. It was a testament to their deep reverence for the cosmos and their place within it. And as we'll see, this legacy of timekeeping would echo through the ages, shaping the cultures that followed in their footsteps. The Olmecs didn't just build colossal stone heads or create intricate art, they also mastered the art of survival in a challenging tropical environment. At the heart of their civilization was agriculture, the lifeblood that fed their people and fueled their rise as Mesoamerica's first great culture. Central to their success was maize or corn, which became the cornerstone of their diet and a symbol of their ingenuity. But growing enough food to sustain cities like San Lorenzo and La Venta wasn't as simple as planting seeds and waiting for the harvest. The Olmecs faced a unique set of challenges, from unpredictable rains to dense, swampy terrain. Yet, they turned these obstacles into opportunities, developing innovative farming techniques that not only fed their population, but also laid the foundation for their cultural achievements. The fertile river valleys of the Gulf Coast were a gift to the Olmecs, providing rich soil perfect for cultivating crops. Rivers like the Coatzacoalcos and Tonalá not only supplied water, but also created natural irrigation systems, allowing the Olmecs to grow maize, beans, squash, and other staples. But farming in a tropical environment wasn't without its difficulties. Heavy rains could flood fields, while dry spells could wither crops. To overcome this, the Olmecs engineered raised fields and drainage systems, ensuring their crops thrived in even the wettest conditions. These methods were so effective that they became a model for later Mesoamerican civilizations. But agriculture wasn't just about survival, it was also a driving force behind the Olmecs' cultural advancements. With a steady food supply, they could support a growing population and free up resources for art, architecture, and trade. Their ability to produce surplus crops allowed them to build monumental structures, trade with neighboring regions, and develop the complex social systems that defined their civilization. In many ways, the Olmecs' agricultural success was the key that unlocked their cultural legacy, proving that even the most basic human need, food, could become a catalyst for greatness. The Olmec economy was a marvel of its time, built on a foundation of trade networks that stretched far beyond their heartland in what is now southern Mexico. Picture this, a bustling exchange of goods where jade, obsidian, and cacao flowed like currency across vast distances, connecting the Olmecs to neighboring cultures and even regions as far as Guatemala and Honduras. These weren't just commodities, they were symbols of power, prestige, and spirituality. Jade, for instance, was prized for its beauty and rarity, often crafted into intricate ornaments and ceremonial objects. Obsidian, with its sharp edges, was essential for tools and weapons, while cacao, the precursor to chocolate, held both economic and ritual value. But this thriving trade didn't happen by chance. It was carefully managed by the Olmec elite, who controlled access to resources and trade routes. By monopolizing these networks, they ensured their dominance over the region's economy. Imagine the strategic importance of controlling the flow of obsidian, a material vital for everyday life and warfare, or jade, a luxury item tied to religious and political authority. This elite oversight wasn't just about wealth, it was about maintaining power and influence. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. The Olmec economy wasn't just about trade. It was the engine that fueled their monumental achievements, those colossal stone heads, the grand plazas, and the intricate sculptures we admire today. They didn't materialize out of thin air. The wealth generated through trade and resource management provided the means to fund these ambitious projects. Skilled artisans, laborers, and architects were supported by the surplus created through this economic system. In a way, the Olmecs' economy was the backbone of their civilization, enabling them to leave behind a legacy that still captivates us thousands of years later. So, what does this tell us about the Olmecs? Their ability to create such a sophisticated trade network and manage resources so effectively speaks to their ingenuity and organizational skills. It wasn't just about accumulating wealth, it was about building a society that could sustain its grandeur and influence over centuries. And as we'll see next, this economic foundation didn't just support their art and architecture, it shaped their entire way of life. The Olmec civilization wasn't just defined by its colossal stone heads or intricate art. It was also built on a highly structured social hierarchy that shaped every aspect of life. At the top of this pyramid were the rulers, figures of immense power and authority who were seen as both political leaders and divine intermediaries. These rulers weren't just kings, they were believed to have a direct connection to the gods, a belief that helped solidify their control over the people. Below them were the priests, who played a crucial role in maintaining the spiritual and cultural fabric of Olmec society. They were the keepers of rituals, the interpreters of divine will, and the architects of the ceremonies that reinforced the ruler's legitimacy. But the Olmec social structure didn't stop there. Skilled artisans, craftsmen, and traders formed another vital layer. These individuals were responsible for creating the stunning jade carvings, pottery, and monumental sculptures that the Olmecs are famous for. Their work wasn't just art, it was a reflection of the society's values, religious beliefs, and the power of its elite. Then there were the farmers, the backbone of the civilization, who toiled to produce the food that sustained everyone. Though they may have held a lower social status, their role was indispensable, ensuring the survival and growth of the Olmec cities. One of the most fascinating pieces of evidence we have about this hierarchy comes from elite burials. Archaeologists have uncovered tombs filled with jade ornaments, finely crafted pottery, and other luxury items, clearly indicating the high status of those buried within. These burials weren't just about honoring the dead, they were a public display of power and wealth, reinforcing the social order for the living. The more elaborate the burial, the higher the individual standing in society, a practice that underscores the deep connection between material wealth and social status in Olmec culture. Religion played a pivotal role in maintaining this structure. The rulers and priests used religious ceremonies and iconography to legitimize their authority, presenting themselves as the chosen ones who could communicate with the gods. This wasn't just about control, it was about creating a sense of order and stability. By tying their power to divine will, the elites ensured that their position was seen as natural and unchangeable, a system that kept the society functioning smoothly. This intricate social structure didn't exist in isolation. It was deeply intertwined with the Olmec political system. The rulers' divine status allowed them to command not just loyalty but also labor, enabling the construction of monumental architecture and the organization of large-scale projects. The priests, in turn, acted as advisors and enforcers of the ruler's divine mandate, creating a seamless link between religion and governance. Together, they formed a system that was both hierarchical and deeply interconnected, a framework that allowed the Olmec civilization to thrive for centuries. The Olmec political system was as fascinating as it was complex, built around powerful city-states that served as the heart of their civilization. Among these, San Lorenzo and Venta stand out as monumental centers of power and influence. These weren't just cities, they were hubs of governance, culture, and spirituality, where rulers held sway not only over political matters but also over the religious life of their people. The Olmec leaders were more than kings or chieftains, they were seen as intermediaries between the gods and the mortal world, blending political authority with divine legitimacy. This dual role gave them unparalleled influence, allowing them to command loyalty and maintain order across their territories. Archaeological evidence suggests that these city-states weren't isolated but rather interconnected through a network of alliances and rivalries. San Lorenzo, for instance, appears to have been a dominant force in its time, with its rulers extending their reach through strategic alliances and at times military power. Yet, this dominance wasn't unchallenged. Over time, La Venta rose to prominence, possibly through alliances or shifts in regional power dynamics. The relationships between these city-states weren't always peaceful. evidence of defensive fortifications and depictions of conflicts in Olmec art hint at a world where power was constantly negotiated and sometimes contested. What's particularly intriguing is how the Olmecs managed to maintain control over such vast territories without the formalized bureaucracies seen in later Mesoamerican civilizations. Instead, their political system relied heavily on the charisma and authority of their rulers, combined with a shared religious and cultural identity that bound people together. This cohesion allowed them to organize large-scale projects, like the construction of colossal stone heads and ceremonial centers, which served as both symbols of power and unifying focal points for their society. But this system, while effective for centuries, also had its vulnerabilities. Over time, the reliance on powerful individual leaders and the centralized nature of their city-states may have contributed to their decline. As internal pressures grew and external challenges mounted, the delicate balance of alliances and control began to falter. The Olmec political structure, which had once been their greatest strength, may have ultimately played a role in their fragmentation. Yet, even in their decline, the legacy of their governance and the lessons of their rise would echo through the civilizations that followed, shaping the political landscape of Mesoamerica for centuries to come. The Olmec civilization, often hailed as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, didn't simply fade away. It left behind a mystery that has puzzled historians and archaeologists for decades. What caused the decline of this once mighty society? Theories abound, each offering a unique lens into the possible unraveling of the Olmec world. Some point to environmental challenges like drastic changes in climate or the depletion of vital resources. Imagine a landscape once lush and fertile, now struggling to support the population it once nourished. Evidence suggests that over time, the Olmecs may have faced droughts or soil exhaustion, forcing them to abandon their cities and seek new opportunities elsewhere. Another compelling theory revolves around internal strife. As the Olmec civilization grew, so did the complexities of managing such a vast and interconnected society. Power struggles, social unrest, or even conflicts between city-states could have fractured their unity. Archaeologists have uncovered signs of burned structures and hastily abandoned sites, hinting at possible upheaval. Yet, was this collapse sudden, like the fall of a towering monument, or was it a slow, creeping decline over generations? The truth likely lies somewhere in between, with the Olmecs experiencing both rapid shifts and gradual transformations over time. One of the most fascinating clues lies in the shifting trade routes that once connected the Olmec heartland to distant regions. As these networks began to weaken or change, the flow of goods, ideas, and cultural exchange may have dwindled, isolating the Olmecs from the broader Mesoamerican world. This isolation could have further strained their society, leaving them vulnerable to external pressures or internal decay. And yet, the story doesn't end with their decline. The Olmecs left an indelible mark on the cultures that followed. Their art, religion, and architectural innovations became the foundation for later civilizations like the Maya and the Aztecs. Even as their cities were reclaimed by the jungle, their legacy endured, shaping the course of Mesoamerican history for centuries to come. This enduring influence raises an intriguing question. Can a civilization truly be said to have fallen if its ideas and achievements live on? The Olmecs may have vanished from the historical stage, but their impact continues to echo through time. The Olmecs may have vanished from the historical stage over 2,000 years ago, but their influence echoes far beyond their time, shaping the very foundations of Mesoamerican civilization. Often referred to as the mother culture of the region, the Olmecs laid the groundwork for the rise of two of history's most iconic civilizations, the Maya and the Aztecs. Their contributions weren't just fleeting trends, they were enduring frameworks that defined art, religion, governance, and even systems of writing for centuries to come. Take their monumental art, for example. The colossal stone heads they carved aren't just marvels of ancient engineering. They're symbols of a cultural language that later civilizations adopted and adapted. The Maya, known for their intricate stelae and detailed carvings, inherited the Olmec tradition of using art to communicate power and divinity. Similarly, the Aztecs drew inspiration from Olmec iconography, blending it into their own vibrant artistic styles. The jaguar, a recurring motif in Olmec art, appears again and again in Maya and Aztec imagery, symbolizing strength, royalty, and the divine. Religion, too, bears the unmistakable imprint of Olmec influence. The Olmecs were among the first to establish a pantheon of gods tied to natural forces, a concept that the Maya and Aztecs expanded upon. Deities associated with rain, agriculture, and fertility can be traced back to Olmec origins. Even the sacred ball game, a ritual sport with deep spiritual significance, was an Olmec innovation that later civilizations embraced and transformed into a cornerstone of their cultural identity. But perhaps the most profound legacy lies in governance and societal organization. The Olmecs pioneered the idea of centralized authority, with powerful rulers overseeing complex city-states. This model became the blueprint for the Maya city-states and the Aztec Empire. The Olmecs also laid the groundwork for early forms of writing and calendrical systems, which the Maya refined into one of the most sophisticated scripts and timekeeping methods of the ancient world. Recognizing the Olmecs' foundational role isn't just about understanding the past, it's about seeing how their innovations resonate in the modern world. Their legacy reminds us that history is a tapestry woven together by the threads of countless cultures, each contributing something essential to the whole. By studying the Olmecs, we gain a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of human civilization and the enduring power of ideas that transcend time. Their story is a testament to how one civilization's achievements can ripple through history, shaping the world in ways that still captivate us today. The story of the Olmecs isn't just ancient history, it's a living, evolving mystery that modern archaeology continues to unravel. For centuries, their colossal stone heads and enigmatic artifacts lay hidden beneath the dense jungles of Mesoamerica, waiting to be discovered. The first major breakthroughs came in the late 19th century, when explorers and archaeologists began to piece together fragments of this lost civilization. But uncovering the Olmecs hasn't been easy. Unlike the Maya or the Aztecs, who left behind detailed written records, the Olmecs left almost no written language. This has made studying them a bit like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Early archaeologists relied heavily on physical artifacts, those massive stone heads, intricate jade carvings, and ceremonial mounds, to piece together the story of the Olmecs. These discoveries were groundbreaking, but they only scratched the surface. For decades, scholars debated who the Olmecs were, how they lived, and what happened to them. The lack of written records meant that much of what we knew was based on educated guesses and interpretations of their art and architecture. But in recent years, technology has revolutionized the way we study the Olmecs. Ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR, and advanced imaging techniques have allowed archaeologists to see beneath the surface without disturbing the soil. These tools have revealed hidden structures, entire networks of settlements, and even evidence of early forms of urban planning. For example, LiDAR has uncovered vast ceremonial centers and complex water management systems, suggesting that the Olmecs were far more advanced than we once thought. Ongoing excavations are also shedding new light on the Olmecs' daily lives. Recent digs have uncovered homes, workshops, and even ancient garbage dumps. Yes, trash can tell us a lot about how people lived thousands of years ago. These discoveries are helping us understand everything from their diet and trade networks to their social structure and religious practices. Yet, for all the progress we've made, the Olmecs remain one of history's great enigmas. Every new discovery seems to raise as many questions as it answers. Who were the people behind these incredible achievements? What drove them to create such monumental works of art? And why did their civilization eventually fade away? These are the questions that keep archaeologists coming back year after year to the jungles of Mexico. As we continue to uncover the secrets of the Olmecs, one thing is clear: this ancient civilization still has much to teach us. With every new excavation, with every technological breakthrough, we get a little closer to understanding the world they inhabited and the legacy they left behind. And who knows, the next big discovery could be just around the corner, waiting to rewrite the story of Mesoamerica once again. The Olmecs, often referred to as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, have not only left an indelible mark on history, but have also seeped into the fabric of modern pop culture. From the pages of novels to the immersive worlds of video games, their mysterious civilization has inspired countless creators. But how accurately are they portrayed? And why does it matter? Take, for instance, their iconic colossal heads, those massive stone sculptures that have become synonymous with the Olmecs. In some movies and games, these heads are often used as a symbol of ancient power or even as mystical artifacts imbued with supernatural abilities. While these portrayals are undeniably entertaining, they sometimes stray far from the archaeological evidence. The real significance of these heads lies in their craftsmanship and what they reveal about Olmec society, like their advanced understanding of stone carving and their deep connection to leadership and identity. Books, too, have explored the Olmecs, weaving their history into fictional narratives. Some authors use the Olmecs as a backdrop for tales of intrigue and adventure, blending historical facts with imaginative storytelling. While this can spark interest in the civilization, it also risks blurring the line between reality and myth. For example, the Olmecs are sometimes depicted as an otherworldly or even extraterrestrial culture, a trope that, while intriguing, detracts from their very real and human achievements. Video games, on the other hand, offer a unique opportunity to immerse players in the Olmec world. Titles like Civilization and Age of Empires include the Olmecs as a playable faction, allowing gamers to engage with their legacy in an interactive way. Yet, these representations often simplify or generalize their culture, focusing more on gameplay mechanics than historical accuracy. So why does accurate representation matter? The Olmecs were pioneers, architects of the first great Mesoamerican civilization, laying the groundwork for future cultures like the Maya and Aztecs. When their story is told with care and respect, it not only honors their contributions but also helps us understand the roots of Mesoamerican history. Misrepresentations, while sometimes harmless, can dilute their legacy, reducing a rich and complex culture to mere fantasy. By examining how the Olmecs are depicted in pop culture, we can appreciate their enduring influence while also advocating for a more truthful portrayal. Their story is one of innovation, artistry, and resilience, a legacy that deserves to be preserved, not just as a footnote in history, but as a vibrant chapter in the human story. And as we move forward, it's worth asking, how can we ensure that the Olmecs are remembered not just for their mysteries, but for the incredible civilization they truly were? The story of the Olmecs doesn't end with the decline of their ancient cities. In fact, their legacy is very much alive today, woven into the cultural fabric of modern indigenous communities across Mexico. These communities, descendants of the Olmecs and other Mesoamerican civilizations, carry forward traditions, languages, and beliefs that trace their roots back thousands of years. It's a living heritage, one that reminds us how deeply history shapes the present. Take, for example, the Nahua and Mix-Zoc peoples, whose languages and customs echo those of the Olmecs. Many of their rituals, from agricultural ceremonies to spiritual practices, retain elements that scholars believe originated in the Olmec era. Even the reverence for jade, a material the Olmecs prized, continues in some of these communities, symbolizing a connection to their ancestors that has endured through centuries of change. But preserving this heritage isn't without its challenges. Urbanization, globalization, and the pressures of modern life threaten to erode these ancient traditions. That's why there's been a growing movement to protect and celebrate this cultural legacy. Local initiatives, often led by indigenous leaders, are working to revive traditional crafts, teach ancestral languages, and document oral histories. Museums and cultural centers in Mexico are also playing a vital role, showcasing Olmec artifacts and educating the public about their significance. What's truly remarkable is how the Olmec's contributions continue to shape Mesoamerican identity. Their achievements in art, architecture, and governance laid the groundwork for civilizations like the Maya and Aztecs, whose cultures are often more widely recognized. By acknowledging the Olmec's role as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, we gain a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of these societies and the enduring influence of their innovations. This isn't just about looking back, it's about looking forward. The Olmec legacy inspires modern efforts to honor and sustain indigenous cultures, reminding us that these traditions are not relics of the past but vibrant, living systems of knowledge. They offer lessons in resilience, creativity, and the power of cultural continuity. As we explore the Olmec story, we're also celebrating the indigenous communities who keep their spirit alive, ensuring that this remarkable heritage continues to thrive for generations to come. The Olmecs thrived in one of the most demanding environments on Earth, the dense, humid tropics of Mesoamerica. This region, with its sweltering heat, seasonal floods, and unpredictable rainfall, posed significant challenges. Yet, the Olmecs didn't just survive, they flourished, and their ability to adapt offers us a fascinating glimpse into their ingenuity. One of their most remarkable achievements was mastering flood management. Living in low-lying areas prone to seasonal flooding, they engineered elaborate drainage systems and raised platforms for their cities. These innovations not only protected their homes and crops, but also allowed them to harness water for irrigation, turning potential disasters into opportunities for growth. Imagine the foresight it took to plan and build such systems without modern tools or technology. It's a testament to their deep understanding of their environment. But their adaptation didn't stop there. The Olmecs were also pioneers in resource conservation. They carefully managed their forests, ensuring sustainable use of timber and other materials. Their agricultural practices, like crop rotation and the cultivation of diverse plant species, prevented soil depletion and supported a stable food supply. This balance with nature wasn't just practical, it was a cornerstone of their culture, reflecting a profound respect for the land. Climate change, however, may have played a role in their decline. While their resilience was extraordinary, shifts in weather patterns over centuries could have strained their systems, leading to challenges they couldn't overcome. This serves as a poignant reminder of how even the most advanced civilizations can be vulnerable to environmental shifts, a lesson that resonates deeply in our modern world. What can we learn from the Olmecs' adaptability? Their ability to innovate in the face of adversity, to work with their environment rather than against it, offers a blueprint for sustainable living. As we grapple with our own environmental challenges, their story reminds us that resilience isn't just about survival, it's about thriving through creativity and respect for the natural world. And as we move forward, it's worth considering how these environmental adaptations didn't just shape their survival, they shaped their culture. From their monumental architecture to their intricate art, the Olmecs' connection to their environment is woven into every aspect of their legacy, revealing a civilization deeply intertwined with the land they called home. The Olmec civilization, often celebrated for its monumental art and architectural feats, also offers fascinating glimpses into the roles women played in their society. While much of the focus has traditionally been on male rulers and warriors, recent discoveries suggest that women were far from peripheral figures. Olmec art, for instance, provides some of the clearest evidence of their influence. Statues and figurines depicting women, often adorned with elaborate headdresses and jewelry, hint at their prominence in religious and ceremonial contexts. Some scholars believe these depictions represent priestesses or even female deities, underscoring the spiritual authority women may have held. But interpreting gender roles in an ancient society like the Olmecs comes with its challenges. Unlike later Mesoamerican cultures such as the Maya or Aztecs, the Olmecs left behind no written records. This means we rely heavily on archaeological findings, which can be open to interpretation. For example, while some figurines show women holding infants, suggesting roles tied to motherhood, others depict them in active, seemingly authoritative poses. These contrasting images remind us that women's roles were likely multifaceted, blending domestic, spiritual, and possibly even political responsibilities. One of the most intriguing aspects of Olmec society is how their gender dynamics may have influenced their cultural achievements. The presence of women in religious and artistic contexts suggests they played a key role in shaping the civilization's identity. After all, religion and art were not just expressions of belief, they were tools of governance and social cohesion. By recognizing the contributions of women, we gain a more nuanced understanding of how the Olmecs maintained their complex society over centuries. This deeper look into gender roles also highlights the importance of diversity in ancient civilizations. It's easy to think of the Olmecs as a monolithic culture defined by its colossal heads and mysterious rulers. But the truth is, their society was likely as varied and dynamic as any other, with women contributing in ways that were both visible and unseen. As we continue to uncover more about the Olmecs, it's clear that their legacy isn't just about the monuments they left behind. It's about the people, both men and women, who made their civilization possible. And speaking of legacy, the Olmec social structure didn't just shape their own time, it laid the groundwork for future Mesoamerican cultures. Their emphasis on balance and inclusion, reflected in their art and governance, became a blueprint for civilizations that followed. So, as we explore their world, we're not just uncovering the past, we're seeing how their ideas echoed through history, influencing societies long after their own had faded into the mists of time. The Olmecs are often celebrated as a culture of art, innovation, and spiritual depth, but like many ancient civilizations, they were not strangers to conflict and warfare. Evidence of violence and conquest emerges from the archaeological record, painting a more complex picture of their society. From finely crafted weapons to the remnants of defensive structures, the Olmecs left behind clues that suggest warfare played a significant role in their political and territorial ambitions. But what does this evidence really tell us, and how did conflict shape the trajectory of their civilization? One of the most striking examples of Olmec warfare comes from the discovery of weapons and tools designed for combat. Ceremonial axes, spear points, and other implements have been found at sites like San Lorenzo and La Venta. These artifacts, often made from obsidian and jade, were not just functional but also symbolic, reflecting the power and authority of those who wielded them. The presence of such weapons suggests that the Olmecs were not only capable of defending themselves, but also of projecting their influence through force when necessary. Defensive structures further hint at a society that was no stranger to conflict. earthen mounds, palisades, and strategically placed settlements indicate that the Olmecs took measures to protect their cities and resources. These fortifications were likely built in response to external threats or internal rivalries, highlighting the precarious nature of maintaining control over a growing civilization. But interpreting these structures isn't always straightforward. Were they purely defensive, or did they also serve as symbols of power and dominance? The line between protection and intimidation can be difficult to discern in the archaeological record. Warfare also played a key role in the Olmecs' political and territorial expansion. By controlling key trade routes and resources, they were able to extend their influence across Mesoamerica. Conflict may have been a tool for consolidating power as rival groups vied for dominance in a region rich with opportunity. The Olmecs' ability to project their culture and ideology across such a vast area suggests that warfare was not just about survival, but also about shaping the future of their civilization. Yet, understanding the role of violence in Olmec society comes with its challenges. The archaeological record can be ambiguous, and evidence of warfare is often open to interpretation. For example, skeletal remains showing signs of trauma might indicate battle wounds, but they could also point to ritualistic practices or even accidents. This complexity reminds us that the past is rarely as clear-cut as we might like it to be, and that the story of the Olmecs is one that continues to evolve with each new discovery. So, how did warfare shape the Olmec civilization? It's clear that conflict was more than just a destructive force. It was a driving factor in their political strategies, territorial expansion, and even their cultural identity. By examining the evidence of weapons, defensive structures, and the broader implications of their conquests, we gain a deeper understanding of how the Olmecs navigated a world where power was often secured through strength. As we move forward, we'll explore how these elements of warfare intertwined with other aspects of their society, revealing a civilization as complex and multifaceted as the artifacts they left behind. The Olmecs, often regarded as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, left behind more than just colossal stone heads and intricate artifacts. They also gifted the world a rich tapestry of myths and legends. These stories, passed down through generations, offer us a window into their beliefs, values, and understanding of the cosmos. One of the most iconic figures in Olmec mythology is the word jaguar, a supernatural being that blends human and jaguar traits. This creature wasn't just a fantastical idea. It symbolized power, transformation, and the mysterious forces of nature. The jaguar, revered as a predator and a symbol of the night, was seen as a bridge between the earthly and the divine, embodying the Olmec's deep connection to the natural world. Another central figure in their mythology was the maize god, a deity representing fertility, sustenance, and the life-giving power of agriculture. For the Olmecs, maize wasn't just a crop, it was the foundation of life itself. The maize god story reflects their dependence on agriculture and their reverence for the cycles of growth, harvest, and rebirth. This deity would later reappear in the mythologies of the Maya and Aztecs, showing how the Olmec spiritual legacy influenced the civilizations that followed. Storytelling played a crucial role in preserving the Olmec's cultural identity. Through myths, they explained the origins of the world, the behavior of natural phenomena, and the relationship between humans and the divine. These tales weren't just entertainment, they were a way of passing down knowledge, values, and traditions. The Olmec's myths also reveal their worldview, a universe where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual realms were fluid, and where gods and humans interacted in a dynamic, ever-changing dance. By examining these stories, we can see how the Olmec's mythology reflects their understanding of power, creation, and the interconnectedness of all things. Their legends weren't just about the past, they were a living, breathing part of their society, shaping how they saw themselves and their place in the world. And as these myths traveled across time and space, they became a shared heritage, linking the Olmecs to the broader tapestry of Mesoamerican civilizations. The Olmecs, often hailed as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, weren't just masters of art and religion. They were innovators in technology, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in their time. Their achievements in stone carving, urban planning, and engineering reveal a civilization far ahead of its era, laying the groundwork for future cultures in the region. Let's start with their mastery of stone. The colossal heads, their most iconic creations, weren't just artistic triumphs, they were feats of engineering. Carved from massive basalt blocks, some weighing over 20 tons, these sculptures required precise planning and execution. Transporting these stones from quarries miles away, often through dense jungles and across rivers, speaks to their ingenuity and resourcefulness. They used a combination of sleds, ropes, and rollers, showcasing a deep understanding of physics and teamwork. But the Olmec's technological prowess didn't stop at sculpture. Their urban centers, like Venta and San Lorenzo, were marvels of planning and design. These cities were laid out with precision, featuring plazas, pyramids, and ceremonial platforms aligned with astronomical events. The Olmecs understood the importance of drainage, creating intricate systems to manage rainwater and prevent flooding, a testament to their foresight and adaptability. They even engineered artificial mounds and terraces, transforming the landscape to suit their needs. This combination of practicality and vision set a standard for future Mesoamerican civilizations. Materials also played a key role in their technological advancements. The Olmecs worked with jade, obsidian, and basalt, materials that required specialized tools and techniques to shape. Jade, in particular, was highly prized, and its use in jewelry and ceremonial objects shows their ability to manipulate even the hardest substances. Their tools, often made from flint and obsidian, were sharp and precise, enabling them to craft intricate designs and functional implements. This blend of artistry and utility underscores their dual focus on beauty and function. Perhaps most impressive was their ability to combine these technologies into monumental architecture. The Great Pyramid at Venta, for example, wasn't just a towering structure, it was a symbol of their civilization's strength and unity. Built with thousands of tons of earth and stone, it served as a focal point for religious and political life. The Olmec's ability to organize large-scale projects like this, mobilizing labor and resources on such a grand scale, highlights their advanced social organization and leadership. These technological achievements weren't just isolated accomplishments, they were integral to the Olmec's cultural legacy. Their innovations in stone carving, urban planning, and engineering influenced later civilizations like the Maya and Aztecs, who built upon these foundations. The Olmecs showed that technology wasn't just about tools and materials. It was about vision, creativity, and the ability to shape the world around them. Their legacy reminds us that even in the ancient world, human ingenuity knew no bounds. The Olmecs didn't just build colossal stone heads or carve intricate jade figurines, they also crafted a profound spiritual world that permeated every aspect of their civilization. At the heart of this worldview was shamanism, a practice that bridged the gap between the physical and the supernatural. Shamans were more than just spiritual leaders. They were intermediaries who could communicate with the gods, interpret omens, and guide the Olmec people through the mysteries of life and death. Their role was crucial, not only in religious ceremonies but also in the everyday lives of the people, from healing the sick to ensuring bountiful harvests. But shamanism wasn't just for the spiritual elite. It was deeply intertwined with the power of Olmec rulers. These leaders were seen as divine figures, chosen by the gods to maintain cosmic order. They were believed to have direct access to the spirit world, and their ability to commune with deities legitimized their rule. Archaeological evidence, like the elaborate tombs and ceremonial offerings found at sites such as La Venta and San Lorenzo, suggests that these rulers performed rituals to honor the gods and secure their favor. Offerings of jade, obsidian, and even human sacrifices were made to appease the spirits and ensure the prosperity of their people. What's fascinating is how these spiritual practices shaped Olmec society as a whole. Rituals weren't just isolated events. They were communal experiences that reinforced social bonds and collective identity. The act of coming together to celebrate or appease the gods created a sense of unity and purpose, weaving spirituality into the fabric of daily life. The Olmec's belief in the supernatural wasn't just about fear or reverence, it was a way of understanding their place in the world and navigating its challenges. As we peel back the layers of Olmec spirituality, we begin to see how their connection to the unseen shaped not only their religion but also their art, politics, and even their economy. Their worldview was a tapestry of the sacred and the practical, where the spiritual and the material were inseparable. This profound integration of the supernatural into every aspect of life is what makes the Olmecs so unique and so enduringly mysterious. So, as we move forward, let's explore how these spiritual foundations influenced the Olmec's legacy, shaping not just their own civilization but also the cultures that came after them. The Olmecs didn't just build cities, they crafted entire landscapes that spoke to the heavens. Their understanding of the cosmos was deeply intertwined with their daily lives, shaping everything from their architecture to their religious practices. Imagine standing in the heart of an Olmec city, looking up at the night sky and realizing that the very layout of the streets and temples around you mirrored the stars above. This wasn't accidental, it was a deliberate act of sacred geography, a way to connect the earthly realm with the divine. One of the most striking examples of this celestial alignment can be seen in the city of La Venta. The main ceremonial center was carefully oriented to align with the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. During key astronomical events like solstices or equinoxes, the placement of structures created dramatic visual effects, as if the heavens themselves were nodding in approval. For the Olmecs, these alignments weren't just practical, they were spiritual. They believed that by harmonizing their world with the cosmos, they could tap into the power of the gods and ensure the prosperity of their civilization. Astronomy wasn't just a science for the Olmecs, it was a language. The stars told stories, the sun marked cycles of life and death, and the moon governed the rhythms of agriculture and ritual. Their priests and rulers were not only political leaders but also skilled astronomers, interpreting celestial signs to guide their people. This cosmic knowledge wasn't confined to the elite, though. It permeated every aspect of Olmec life, from the timing of planting crops to the construction of monumental works of art. Take, for instance, the colossal heads for which the Olmecs are so famous. While these massive stone sculptures are often interpreted as portraits of rulers, some scholars suggest they also carried astronomical significance. The positioning of the heads, often aligned with specific celestial bodies, may have served as a way to anchor the power of their leaders to the eternal cycles of the cosmos. It's a fascinating blend of art, politics, and spirituality, all rooted in a profound understanding of the universe. The Olmec's cosmic worldview didn't just shape their cities, it shaped their legacy. Their innovations in astronomy and sacred geography laid the groundwork for future Mesoamerican civilizations like the Maya and the Aztecs, who would build upon these ideas in even more elaborate ways. By connecting their earthly achievements to the stars, the Olmecs created a cultural blueprint that transcended time, reminding us that even the grandest human accomplishments are but a reflection of the infinite cosmos. The Olmecs, often regarded as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, didn't just build colossal stone heads or develop advanced systems of trade and governance. They also held profound beliefs about death and what lies beyond. For them, death wasn't an end but a doorway to another existence, a concept that shaped their rituals, their art, and even their social structure. Archaeological discoveries have revealed a fascinating glimpse into their funerary practices. Tombs unearthed at sites like La Venta and San Lorenzo show that the Olmecs buried their dead with great care, often accompanied by rich offerings. These weren't just random objects, they were carefully chosen items meant to aid the deceased in their journey to the afterlife. Jade figurines, intricately carved celts, and even pottery filled with food and drink were placed alongside the dead, reflecting a belief that the afterlife required preparation and provision. But these burial practices weren't just about the dead, they were also a mirror of the living. The Olmec spiritual beliefs were deeply intertwined with their social hierarchy. High-status individuals like rulers or priests were often buried with the most elaborate offerings, signaling their importance not just in life but in the afterlife as well. This suggests that the Olmecs saw death as a continuation of the social order, where one's status in life determined their place in the spiritual realm. One of the most intriguing aspects of Olmec funerary rituals is the evidence of human sacrifice found in some burial sites. While this might seem grim to modern sensibilities, it underscores the Olmec belief in the cyclical nature of life and death. Sacrifices were likely seen as a way to maintain cosmic balance, ensuring the deceased's safe passage and the community's continued prosperity. The Olmecs' views on death also reveal much about their broader culture. Their emphasis on the afterlife suggests a worldview where the spiritual and the material were deeply connected. The objects they buried with their dead weren't just gifts to the gods or the deceased, they were symbols of a culture that valued continuity, balance, and the enduring power of the human spirit. By examining these burial practices, we gain more than just insight into Olmec beliefs about death. We see how their understanding of the afterlife shaped their society, their art, and their legacy. It's a reminder that the way a culture confronts mortality often reveals its deepest values and priorities. And for the Olmecs, death was not an end but a bridge to something greater, a belief that continues to captivate and inspire us today. Modern science has opened a new chapter in our understanding of the Olmecs, revealing secrets that were once thought lost to time. Advances in DNA analysis, for instance, are allowing researchers to trace the genetic lineage of this ancient civilization, offering clues about their origins, migrations, and even their health. Imagine being able to peer into the very blueprint of a people who lived over 3,000 years ago, uncovering stories written not in stone but in their genes. This groundbreaking work is helping us piece together a more complete picture of who the Olmecs were, beyond the monumental art and architecture they left behind. Then there's LiDAR technology, a game changer in archaeology. By using laser pulses to map the ground from above, LiDAR has revealed hidden structures, roads, and even entire settlements buried beneath dense jungle canopies. In the heart of Mesoamerica, this technology has uncovered traces of Olmec cities that were previously invisible, reshaping our understanding of their urban planning and societal complexity. These discoveries are a reminder that even the most studied civilizations still hold surprises waiting to be uncovered by the right tools. But it's not just about the tools, it's about the approach. The study of the Olmecs today is a truly interdisciplinary effort combining archaeology, anthropology, environmental science, and even astrophysics. For example, by analyzing soil samples and pollen remains, scientists can reconstruct the Olmecs' agricultural practices and the environmental challenges they faced. Meanwhile, astronomers are examining how the Olmecs aligned their cities and monuments with celestial events, shedding light on their sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. This collaborative approach is proving that no single field can fully unravel the mysteries of the past. It takes a team. What's truly exciting is the potential for future discoveries. As technology continues to evolve, who knows what else we might uncover? Could there be more colossal heads waiting to be unearthed, or perhaps evidence of trade routes stretching farther than we ever imagined? The possibilities are endless, and each new find has the potential to rewrite the story of the Olmecs, challenging what we thought we knew about their civilization and its influence on later cultures like the Maya and Aztecs. And yet, even as science advances, the Olmecs retain an air of mystery that continues to captivate us. There's something about their colossal heads, their enigmatic symbols, and their monumental achievements that speaks to us across the centuries. They remind us that history is not just a collection of facts, but a living, breathing narrative that evolves with every discovery. The Olmecs may have vanished long ago, but through modern science, their story is far from over. The Olmecs stand as a monumental chapter in the story of human civilization, their legacy echoing through the centuries as the first great Mesoamerican culture. From their colossal stone heads to their intricate jade carvings, the Olmecs laid the foundation for the societies that followed the Maya, the Aztecs, and countless others. Their innovations in art, architecture, and governance set the stage for a cultural explosion that would shape the Americas for generations. Yet, even as we uncover more about their achievements, the Olmecs remain shrouded in mystery. Why did they build such massive stone sculptures? What led to the decline of their great cities? These questions linger, inviting us to dig deeper into their world. The allure of the Olmecs isn't just in what we know, but in what we've yet to discover. Their story reminds us that history is never truly finished. It's a living, breathing puzzle waiting to be solved. As we study their artifacts and decipher their symbols, we're not just learning about the past, we're connecting with the ingenuity and resilience of people who walked this earth thousands of years ago. The Olmecs teach us that even the most enigmatic cultures leave behind clues, and it's up to us to piece together their story. Ancient civilizations like the Olmecs remind us of the timeless human drive to create, explore, and leave a mark on the world. As the great historian Will Durant once said, civilization is a stream with banks. The stream is sometimes filled with blood from people killing, stealing, shouting, and doing the things historians usually record. While on the banks, unnoticed, people build homes, make love, raise children, sing songs, and even carve colossal heads out of stone. The Olmecs, in their quiet but profound way, built the banks of Mesoamerican civilization, and their influence still flows through history. If you've enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of the Olmecs, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about their role as the first great Mesoamerican civilization? What questions about their culture fascinate you the most? Share your ideas in the comments below. I'm always excited to hear from fellow history enthusiasts. And if you're eager to explore more ancient mysteries and uncover the hidden stories of our past, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Together, let's keep digging into the fascinating world of history, one mystery at a time.